Hey everybody, welcome to Do You Believe on ParanormalZoneTV. I want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Tonight is a special show. It's a little bit later, but you know what? It's a live show, and guess what? My guest tonight is Dave Spinks, and I'm so excited to have him come on the show tonight. Tonight's discussion is on Willows Weep, and Dave will tell us all about this haunted, wicked location. And Dave, so let's welcome Dave to the show. Hey Dave, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Hey Norene, thanks for having me as always.
Dave, would you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself before we start the show?
Yeah, I've been investigating the paranormal since a very young age, due to some experiences I had as a young man, and wanting more answers. Over the years, I started researching and reading and trying to find information on some of the things that I had experienced. So that's what led me into, long story short, what led me into what I do today.
And tonight, Dave, I've been after you for so long to come on the show and talk about this wicked Willows Weep house. And I've heard a few things about it, and it's pretty scary stuff. So do you want to start the show about talking about the Willows Weep?
Yeah, I'll tell you from the very beginning, like how I found this location and whatnot, and some of the things I've experienced here. Just to let you know, I am live inside the middle of the house, as you can see in the background. I came across this location almost 4 years ago with a friend of mine, Nikki. We had heard about this place and some of the claims from other paranormal investigators. So we came here and stayed a couple of days and investigated it. The first time I was ever here, I experienced shadow figure, shadow type movement in the house that I couldn't explain. Right here to my right, which you can't see, I was doing a ghost box session, and I felt something hit the bottom of the floor, and then a cold burst of air shot up, and I felt it all over my body as the ghost box was saying a negative terminology, like it was saying it was going to kill me, attack me, and all kinds of stuff like that. Not to mention all the numerous EVPs captured here by myself and many other folks. And second time here, I was with some girls called the Paris Sisters, and we came during Halloween as well. Every year I do a week of what I call Hauntober. Now I've been doing it for like 4 years, where I come and do a bunch of locations. But this year I decided to come to this house and spend an entire week here because of some of the things that have happened here. And it's just, this house is very unusual. It was built by a postman around this area way back in the 1800s. And the way, you can't really tell from the camera, but the way it is built is in the shape of a cross. And there are windows in the corners over here, and it's almost built as if it was made to funnel in energy. And there is talk of it, the way it faces east, that it would be considered an upside down cross. Now, whether that's true or not, it was built for that particular reason. I can't confirm that yet. There's a lot of things I'm still looking into on this house that need to be confirmed, but nevertheless, it's really weird. I've never seen a house built like this, and there's many claims of paranormal happenings here. I mean, there's just a whole ton of them. There's numerous deaths in this house. Starting back, I'm going to give you the broad strokes, because the real specific information is going to be put into a book and whatnot that I'm doing. So, I want people to buy the book, obviously, but I'm going to give you the broad strokes just to let you know how creepy and crazy this house is. A friend, the woman that the last owner of the house, I became friends with her, and she told me a lot of stories. And I'm going to tell you the more modern stuff and then go backwards. Is that okay?
Oh, right? Yeah, sure. Whatever you want to do.
So when she was looking for this house for her son, looking for a house for her son, and they're from across the border in Illinois, which is only about 15, 20 miles from here. somehow she explained to me that she didn't even know how she got to this little tiny town and found this particular house, but either way, she found it, and it was at a really good price. So she came in, she contacted the people that owned it, and she met the guy. The guy met her here at the house, and it was a younger guy, and he brought her to the door, her and her son, and opened the door, and then said, "You guys go in. I'm not going in there." And lo and behold, she found out that the guy's dad had committed suicide in his house. And he committed suicide by sticking a gun to his head. Now, when Brenda and her son first entered the house, they walked around, and there were some 2x4s and stuff in here that the people had been working on it, trying to get it ready to rent or sell. And she tells me this story that one of the 2x4s was like 10, 15 feet across the room, flew across the room on its own and smashed her son right in the head and really messed him up. Mm. And from then on, she knew that there was something messed up about this house. And then she went ahead and bought it because they figured, it's too good of a price to pass up, and that was maybe some weird coincidental thing. But she knew deep down that there was more to this house than she had to uncover, So she started doing research and found out many, many things had transpired in this house and on this property over the years. Now, going back to the original guy who built it, he was a postman, like I said, and his son, after he died, his son took over the house, and he let me see how I can put this without giving you too much information. He was a sicko. He was actually charged with being a pedophile way back in the 1800s. I have all the paperwork on it. And he was actually sleeping with his stepdaughter and had many kids. This guy had like 23 kids between his wife and then his stepdaughter. Long story short, after many years of this, one day he was out on the property here in the back, and he had pigs. And they describe it in the actual article that I have of him taking a fit, falling down, and his pigs actually ate him alive. Oh my God. And the family, wondered why he wasn't back to the house, so they went out looking for him, and they found him, in the pig pen with the pigs eating him. He was still partly alive, so they drug him back into this house with his blood and guts. His entrails were out, everything. And he died in the house, and this blood was spilt in the house. And that's kind of a weird, almost like a karma thing coming back and getting him, in my view, I mean,
I guess so.
Yeah, and then you have another couple. There was another old man and old woman that lived in this house, and the old woman died. And not long after her husband became a kind of a recluse and a miser. They said, I heard stories, that Brenda told me about him, that after his wife died in the house, and we do have a picture of her, by the way, he became a recluse, and he was so tight with money that he would drive his car into town to get groceries, get his groceries, leave the car there, and walk back. And he also started living in the little tiny bathroom that's in here. And he, did this for years, and then one day no one saw him for a while, so they came looking, and he was dead in the bathtub. So he died in this house, too, along with his wife and the Jesse Sykes guy that was the pedophile. Fast forwarding back to more modern times, there was another couple that lived here. A woman, the woman was a known user of narcotics. That's what I've heard and I've been told. She was unresponsive one day, and they came and got her, and she died. They, technically died at the hospital. And not long after, a few years after, her husband, he committed suicide in a chair in this house. The chair's,
I got a picture of that, Dave. Yeah,
he shot himself in the head in a chair that's right behind the camera here, and the blood's still on the chair, supposedly. Of him, his articles of his boots are still here, his hat, all kinds of stuff. And that is the dad of the kid that showed Brenda the house the first time. So just those things alone, are something that could cause some severe hauntings in a location and on a property. I'm going to show you this book that was found in the floorboards of this house when Brenda took it over. They had some new floors that were put over top of the original 1800s floors. The 1800s floors are still in the house, but this book right here was found hidden between the floorboards.
How old's that book? Dave, what's the date on that?
This book is from the late 80s, okay, which is really weird. But it's put out by the Church of God, of all things. But what's really weird about it, when you look through it, it's telling you all these things, how to do magic. It's telling you how to interact and how to do necromancy, which is some really deep stuff. I mean, and it talks about, I'll just show you, like, it says,
here.
God.
All right, hold on. Let me put you on full screen. Go ahead. All right.
I'll just show you one, just some stuff from in the book. It's really weird stuff. Now, this book was put out widely by the Church of God. Why they would ever put out a book like this? Because it's like really giving you information that the church usually would never do. And I've never heard of this, but it tells you there's a section on channeling. I mean, it's just some creepy stuff.
Dave,
communication with the dead.
Oh my God! What is the name of the church that put this out?
Church of God. It says it right in the book. I mean, it's crazy. And it talks about the spirit world, you can see right there.
Wow. Yeah.
It talks about, some of it's generalized information, but when you get into some of it, it's really weird, man. If you flip through it, it just talks about ways you should do necromancy and ways you shouldn't. I mean, I would never think of a Christian church putting out a book like this.
And for sure that's a Christian church?
Well, yeah, technically it is. Look at this right here.
Right here, let me put you full screen. Wow. That's crazy, Dave.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Divination, aware of shortcuts to making decisions. I mean, dreamers, and the spirit world. I mean, it's just stuff that the church usually does not talk about in the open, View, and it even tells you right here, view at your own risk, so they're not condemning it, which, that doesn't make sense to me.
God.
I mean, it's just some really off-the-wall stuff. So that was found between the new floor and the old floor, okay, when it was being fixed up to be rented out or whatever. Now, if you want to show, I'll show you. You might be able to see this. I don't know.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me put you full screen.
That's a picture of the old woman that died.
Oh yeah, I have that picture. Hold on here. I'm going to share that with them. Now, there's a picture of the tell me, Dave, I have two pictures. One of the actual photograph of the elderly woman, and then right next to it, it's an image that somebody captured on their, I don't know, phone or camera or whatever.
I'll tell you the story of what happened, what was told to me on that particular situation. Well, you can go ahead and show the picture.
I am.
Okay, you see the regular picture, the real one, that's from the obituary of that woman. And then you see the weird-looking one. There was a team of paranormal investigators in the house known as Living Dead Paranormal. I know them. They're good guys. They're legit, and they're good at what they do. They were in here, and they got freaked out by something. Well, on the way out the door, the last one of them out the door heard something behind him. He turned around and took a quick snapshot with his camera, and that's what he captured. Now, to me, that's a spitting image of that old woman.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, it looks just like her. And that was just taken off a cell phone camera, I believe. Mm-hmm. And there you go. There's another picture that you don't have, and I'll be showing that later. Someone had taken a picture of the front of the house out in the yard several years ago, and there's that same old woman, full body almost, standing in the window. So she's definitely here.
Hey, Dave.
And many others.
That house looks so small. How big is that house?
It's very small. I don't have the square footage, but it's when you're inside, it actually feels bigger than it looks on the outside. I mean, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rooms, and it's really weird. Like, it's almost okay. It's in the shape of a cross, and where I'm sitting right now would be the direct center of the cross. And then you know the arms would be this way, and then the top of the cross would be right behind me, and then this way behind the camera is the long part of the cross. It has a whole nother room and then a kitchen. So it's just the weirdest thing. And it's got these, let me see if you can see one above my head right here. You see that point? That point up in the top of the ceiling?
No, I don't see it, Dave.
Like right here.
Oh, up there. Okay, yeah.
We can move the camera a little bit so you can see it just a little bit better. See that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
there.
on each corner. What is that?
There's one up here.
Yeah.
And then another one right behind the door. I don't know if you can see that one.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
It's like these points to funnel energy into the center of this room. Now, I have many videos that were taken off of security cameras that were placed in here by Brenda because so much paranormal activity was happening that they placed security cameras in here. Let's see. If you see these balls, let's see.
All right, here, I'll put you full screen.
See those balls on the floor? See those balls behind me?
It's, for me, it's really dark. Let me see if the viewers can see it.
Anyway, there's some balls right there on the floor, okay?
Uh-huh.
They placed balls all over this area of the house because at one point, someone had put one in the old wheelchair there. It's directly behind me. You can't see it's in that room behind me, right back there. I don't know if it's in there anymore, but there was a wheelchair, and someone had placed a big child's ball in there. Well, one of the security cameras captured that ball actually rolling off the chair and rolling over here to the floor and rolling around. And since that time, they put more balls in here, and there's tons of clips that I have of security cameras catching these balls moving around all by themselves like something was playing with them. And it's really creepy, you know. Also, more stuff on the house. So when Brenda first got the house, she had a neighbor that does he's like a handyman, and she had him go under the house to look for, check the piping and stuff for the water and all that. Well, he was under the house. He was, it's pretty small. You got to kind of crawl around on your knees in the crawl space and stuff. He came across these 5 mounds of dirt, and they were placed almost in a pentagram shape, he said. And in the center of it, there was black ash like someone had performed a ceremony, burning things and whatnot. Well, he was trying to get to the piping, and he pushed one of the mounds of dirt away, and a bone was in there. So while he got the bone, he was about to bring it out of the house, and he came out. He said when he came out of the house, he was all shaken up, all messed up, and I've talked to him, and he'll be in the documentary I'm doing on this place. He said, I'll never go under that house again. And they asked, why not? And he said, something molested me under there. So he brought the bone out with him. So he was attacked by something unseen under the house as well, right under where I'm sitting and Sean's sitting. Sean, my buddy Sean Austin's here with me too. They brought the bone out. Brenda took it, had it looked at, and come to find out that it was an actual child's arm bone, an ulna. And they don't know how old it was, but what I found very suspicious is that the mounds of dirt, there was 5 of them. There's 5 points on a pentagram star, and then there was black ash in the center as if someone was doing some kind of weird ceremony. And no one's ever gone back under there to really look and find out what's in those piles of dirt. So, and if you go back even farther to this whole area right here, there's Native American burial mounds all over it. There was a Native American massacre here, right around this town, and it's just a little teeny town. Doesn't even have a stoplight. So there's a lot of history here. Now, the reason they call it Willows Weep is there's a giant willow tree in the front yard. And there's all kinds of urban legends about this tree. And they said if you mess with this tree, harm will befall you. Now, this one guy was apparently cutting the lawn, and he wanted to trim the tree because the tree limbs hang all the way down to the ground. And apparently he tried trimming the tree and stuff, and then he got back on his lawnmower and was driving around, and he was thrown and like messed his arm up really bad by something. He was physically thrown off his lawnmower. That's one story. Another story is some guys came over here and they were told the story of the tree. It was friends of the people who lived here apparently. And they, I don't believe in that, hogwash, this and that. And they took a couple of limbs off the tree, threw them in the dash of the car, went down the road and had a fatal accident where 2 or 3 of them were killed and one was like a paraplegic after that.
Oh my God.
So it's really spooky stuff. It may be some kind of elemental that has to do with the Native Americans and that tree, because Native Americans, willow trees are very sacred to Native Americans. So I don't know. That's something else we have to look into here.
Oh my gosh.
With all that in a nutshell, I mean, that's a lot of stuff for one.
Oh yeah. Well, there's some viewers in the chat room said they've never heard of Willows Weep.
Yeah. Well,
and I didn't either.
It's not a widely known place, but we're going to change that. And it's one of the craziest locations I've ever been to.
I know.
And now
do you want to say something to the viewers?
Yeah, it's now I took it over. It's mine. So.
Dave is the owner of Willows Weep, the haunted, wicked Willows Weep. Oh my God, that's amazing. Now,
well, the
what?
reason was, okay, and I'll tell you some more. What Brenda explained to me, and she feels that, and there's numerous other attacks on her family. Okay, I'm not going to go into all of those right now, but she really feels that the house almost killed her husband 2 times, and it was time to move on, and she actually lived right next door to this house. She actually bought some more houses right here, and the way she explained it is she wanted someone to have it that knows what it is and can do something with it, and that's what I want to do. I'm going to make it a paranormal laboratory for many investigators to come and try to document the activity that goes on here. And, that's what it's all about for me. Maybe finding one of the small pieces to the puzzle that we all are looking for in this field. And it's an honor to me that she picked me. She had other people that were really interested in buying it, and she didn't want them to have it. She told me when I approached her and when I first found out from Nikki that it was for sale. And there was talk a few years ago from Brenda, but she never really went forward with it. And then I found out through Nikki that she is going to sell it. So I reached out and she said, "Yeah, I want you to have it." So one thing led to another, and now it is what it is. So
how good of a job did Brenda, when she owned it, did they gather evidence and
they did a lot. All the security camera footage, it was hers, and she gave it to me when I took over the house. She also did a lot of research into the people who lived here and the things that happened on the property and the general area. Trying to find answers herself of what was causing the activity in this house. These old houses, they hold a lot of energy from various things that go on over time, and you have all these different people living in them, and to me, this house was built for a specific reason. The way it's built, the shape it's built, it's not a normal house. It was built for something else. It doesn't make any sense to build a house like this.
What do you think it was built for, Dave?
I think the original guy, the postmaster, I think he dabbled, and I think he was into stuff. And he built it for a specific reason, to funnel energy into this house, because he was dabbling in things, witchcraft or whatever the case may be. Don't know yet. We need more research and more time try to figure these things out.
What happened to him?
I think he just died of an old age, and I'm pretty sure his son was Jesse Sykes, who became the pedophile and all that stuff. So it's been passed down generation to generation, but then over the years it was sold to the man and the woman, the woman that died of drugs or a heart attack, if you will, from drugs, is what I've been told. I can't confirm or deny that, but her husband also killed himself right there in that chair in the next room. So, you have all these weird things going on that might lead you to believe that it's some kind of negative entity, and it could go all the way back to the Native Americans. We don't know, what's causing this kind of oppression and these kind of bad things. So it's just, more things we have to research.
Hey, Dave, Nanny Tristan wants to know, what year was the house built?
Late 1800s.
Okay. How many owners did it have, Dave?
Quite a few. I don't know the exact number.
Now, when these owners, did they actually live in the house each time, or did they rent them out?
I think in modern times it may have been rented out in between. From the original family, the Sykeses who lived here. And then other people had bought it, like Mr. Skinner, who shot himself in the head.
Was there any record? Is there any record of the owners, how long they stayed in the house before they sold it? No record.
I'm sure there is. I haven't got that far yet. Yeah. I've only had this place a couple of months.
Hey, wouldn't that be interesting, Dave, to find out how many people actually, after they bought it, actually stayed and kept the house before they sold it? And now, in your research, because I know you're researching on this property since it's yours, is there any information in there as to if there was a seller, and was there any information as to why maybe they only stayed for a short time, and what was going on, why they wanted to get out?
Yeah, that's just stuff we're gonna have to look into more.
Now, since you're the new owner, I'm sure you're really going to get the word out about this house so more people are aware of it. And you are the owner, and you have, did you build your website yet for this house, Dave?
No, but I have created its own YouTube channel. The website will be attached to, it'll be a web page on my website eventually. And like I said, this is just in the beginnings of the things that I'm doing for this house. Is eventually, probably next year, it's going to have live 24/7 DVR cameras that people can get on YouTube and watch. And I haven't figured out exactly which way I'm going to go with that. If it's going to be on my website or on YouTube yet. But I want people to be able to jump on and log in and be able to watch what's going on in the house when nobody's here, because that seems to be there seems to be a lot of activity when no one's here too as well. So.
And Andrew Cox had mentioned, and I think you had already mentioned about when you were there, the floorboards were vibrating. And what?
Yeah,
so Dave, what?
The house has really old floors, and they do. When big guys like me and Sean walk in, you can feel the floor move, but it doesn't explain when you physically hear something hitting from below, and then a burst of cold air coming up. It's weird, really weird stuff.
We were just sitting here, and I saw a shadow behind Dave right before we started.
Yeah, we've already seen some shadow figure play going on since we've been here.
So Dave, when this floor vibrated, what were you doing? Were you doing EVP work? Were you trying to communicate? Or did you just walk in the room and then the floor started vibrating? What caused
you mean on the past times I was here?
Yeah.
It's happened to me twice the other times I was here. We were doing EVPs and ghost box, everything, and then it's, everyone was standing still. There's only two of us in here, and then wham, something hits the bottom of the floor. The one time it physically moved me. And you want to talk about being unnerving when you're just standing there and all of a sudden something has enough force to hit from below the floor and it physically move you a little bit, and then a cold burst of air comes through and you feel it go through your whole body. It's the cold you can't even describe. When you have a spirit type energy go through you like that, you can't understand it until it actually happens to you.
Are you aware of any person or groups that refuse to come back to that house because of something that may have happened to them?
No, I haven't really heard of that, but I also have heard many people running out of this place, and they probably didn't come back. But I didn't, I just heard the part of them being so frightened that they ran out and they were done for the night.
And you are opening up the house for paranormal investigators. And if someone does want to investigate this house, how do they go about doing it?
They have to just let me know. There's ways to reach me via email. It has its own web email that you can email me on, willowsweep@gmail.com. And I'll post that later, but they can also just private message me on Facebook or messenger me, and then they send me the fee for the investigation, and then it'll be opened up to them.
Okay. Paula wants to know, does anyone know how many suicides were committed in the house?
Just one for sure. The other one with the woman is, in a lot of states, they don't pronounce you dead until you're at the hospital and a doctor physically pronounces you dead. Now, what I was told about the woman, that she, they called the ambulance, they came and got her. She was dead in the house, but like I said, the state law usually, in some states, you're not legally dead until a doctor pronounces you. So, you could be dead here, then they take you to the hospital, and you're still alive technically until a doctor says, okay, call it at whatever time.
Right. Now, Dave, you sent me 4 clips. Can we play those? All right.
Yep.
All right. So this clip is called the Ghost Box Response. All right. So this is 16 seconds, everybody. So listen carefully. I'm playing it once. Listen carefully.
Is there an evil force in this house or presence? Yes or no?
Okay. Then Dave, the second one. Maria Sandra Amador wants to know, has a priest ever blessed the house, Dave?
Not that I know of.
Okay. All right, second clip. It says, watch the back door on the right side of the screen. Move all by itself. It has a very large rock in the front of it. Bottom right side of the door. No one is inside in the house at this time. All right, so this is 53 seconds. So everybody listen carefully. Here we go. Is it playing? Huh, it's not playing, Dave. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah.
It's going now. It's going now.
A lot of these, other than the ghost box, are taking off actual security cam footage when no one was in the house.
Okay. All right, third one. It's 35 seconds, and it's notice the ball roll off the chair. This occurs numerous times within the house. No one is in the home when this happens and is captured on home security cams. All right, listen carefully, watch carefully. It's 35 seconds long.
It's just footage, hon. There's no talking or sound.
Wow. Wow. Damn. All right, and the last clip. This is 48 seconds long. Dave, is there audio in this one?
No, there's no audio.
All right, so pay attention to the wheelchair in the back right room. Again, and no one in the house, and this was captured on security cams in the house. 48 seconds long.
Yeah, I show it zoomed in is why some of them are a little bit longer.
Okay, there it goes. All right, and we have another question from Zippy Davis. Dave, have you ever felt anything demonic in there?
I don't use the term demonic, as there's something negative here for sure.
Has anyone ever been harmed in that house, Dave?
Yeah, there's people that have been scratched and attacked in here. Brenda's family. A little girl was actually bitten by a little girl ghost that she saw in the window, and they asked her, "What are you looking at?" And she said, "The little girl up in the upstairs window." A few seconds later, she started screaming, and they said, "What happened? What happened?" And they saw a big bite mark on the little girl's face, and she said, "The girl bit me."
Oh, wow.
And that's just one of many. There's many more, but like I said, I'm not going to give you guys everything at this point in time, but there's just so many other things that have happened here. It's probably the worst place I've ever, been to as an investigator, up to date anyway.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell us why you wanted to buy this house?
Well, like I said, I wanted to have a place to turn into a paranormal lab, and this one, it just all worked out, to be that way. And Brenda told me she wanted me to have it, so it is what it is.
Awesome. Now, Dave, tonight, are you following this show? Are you going to be doing a live stream?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And Sean Austin is with you?
Yeah, he's going to be live on his Periscope, and I will be live on the Real Supernatural channel soon, within 5-10 minutes after we get done with the show.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to tell the viewers about your house and any upcoming events, anything going on, books, whatever?
That's way down the road. That's down the road a ways. Like I said, this is all just happening. So you're the first show I'm on talking about this place because you're my buddy, and that it is what it is. And if you are an investigator and you want to come to one of the creepiest, craziest looking locations, get a hold of me and go from there.
Awesome. And tell them where to go tonight after the show, where to find you, your channel.
It'll be Real Supernatural, YouTube. It's not on Society Supernatural, it's on Real Supernatural. And then Sean D. Austin on Periscope. We'll be doing simultaneous live feeds, so you can watch 2 different angles at once. And we'll be here for 6 days, 6 nights, starting tonight, all the way through Halloween. There'll be daytime Q&As. There'll be tomorrow I'm gonna hook up cameras, and when we're not investigating, there'll be live camera feeds with a DVR system you can watch inside the house. We're gonna be trying different things. Yeah, the floor shaking. Yeah, we're hearing noises and stuff all around us. The floor just shook. We're both sitting here still, not moving. So it's already active.
Oh, wow. What a night you're going to have tonight. So viewers, please go over to Dave's channel on YouTube and watch his exciting show. And he is with Sean Austin. Okay, Dave, thanks so much for coming on my show and telling everyone that you are now the new owner of Wicked Willows Weep. And I wish you safe travels and be safe tonight. Both you and Sean, please be safe.
Oh yeah, it's always a pleasure being on your show, Noreen.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
Thanks. You
Nice
have
to
a
hear you.
hey, Sean. Hi. Hey, you guys be safe tonight, huh?
We will.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Thank you. Best wishes
All right.
to you, Dave. Good night.
You too. Talk to you later.
Good
Night.
night. Hey everybody, that I was so excited that Dave announced that on my show. I've been chopping at the bit wanting to present this to you, and I really wish them a lot of luck and be safe tonight. There's, from the stories that I've heard from Dave, it's really active. So if you guys go over there tonight, it should be an awesome show. So I do have a show next week on November 2nd. It's Dr. Scott Kolababa, and he is a surgeon. He is a doctor. He works at a hospital, and he is going to talk about the dead and what near-death experiences people experience, and what the near-death, what their visions are, and what they talk about. And he's written a book, and he has quite a lot of stories. And then on November 16th, Alan Gotru, who is a true crime writer, he writes about true crime in Louisiana, and we're going to do the axe murders of Louisiana. I'm really excited about having him on the show. And then the last Thursday of November, Vanessa Hogel will be joining me on unsolved murder mysteries and unsolved disappearances. So we've got a great November coming up. So everyone, don't forget to go over to Dave's channel, Real Supernatural, on YouTube, and should be exciting time tonight. Let me do some fast shout outs. I want to thank Royce Hinman. Oh, here, let me pull this out. I want to thank Royce Hinman for modding tonight. Everybody give him a clap, say hi to him. I don't know if Sweet Annie was in, Unique Annie, and I didn't see Crystal Triplet. It's awfully late for them, so I'm not sure if they're here, and if they are, I want to thank you, all my mods, for being here. So let's do some shout outs. Andrew Cox, Anita Ackerman, Carolyn222, Caroline, Cherry Putties, Chippa Terry, Diane Hilbert, Elaine Michael, Exotic Driver, Gary Porter, Ginger Simmons, Gloria Azevedo. Oh my God, I just lost it. Okay, here we go. Jennifer Lopez, Jessica Luna, Joanne D, Lara Mayfield, Mary Sandra Amador, Nancy Santa Maria Latica, Nanny Tristan, no, Royce, no picks for the show. No picks for the show. That's a ghost show, and we're gonna do unsolved mysteries with Vanessa this time. Thanks, honey. Let's see. Princess Patricia, Paul Fam G Team, Paula, Quinlan 00, and my Royce, Yvonne Wilson, Zibby Davis, Zoe Small. So everyone, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Group hug. I love you guys. Have a safe Halloween. I am going to the USS Hornet Saturday. They're having their Halloween event. I'm going to be taking a group. I'm going to be included in that ghost hunt. And I will be taking a group with one of the other security officers on the ship, and we are going to take a group with us on the ship. I'll try and stream on Facebook if I can. I'll have my phone with me, and I will try and do that. I'm really excited about doing that. Haven't done that in a long time. So have a great Halloween. Be safe, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. I love you guys. See you on Thursday, November 2nd. I'll be back. Thanks so much. Love you. Have a great evening. Thank you so much.